Sanchez Flores will have done his homework, and he will have informed his players that Barcelona only get better as the game progresses. 42 of their 59 goals have come in the second half of matches. They wear the opposition down. And in these conditions, it's an endurance test.
No one was in a rush, were they, to get out the tunnel before the referee, that's for sure. It's all there to play for. Both teams obviously believe that they can still take all 3 points. I wouldn't exactly say that Espanyol have been parking the bus. They're a team that don't score many goals. Just 18 goals this season so far, and Giới Moreno is the main provider of those. We see him pictured here, and yes, there is going to be obviously pivotal to the attacking success of Barcelona in the second half. Not so sure we'll see him at the end of the game, though. So we're hoping he can make an early impact in the second half, where Barcelona do generally tend to come on strong.
Well, it's a balancing act for the Barcelona manager, depending on the advice of his scientific backup team as well. As his players are fighting on 3 fronts. Champions League against Chelsea coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Barcelona kicking off the second half. They haven't done any work on this pitch. There's standing water, and the team that wins today is going to have to walk through a storm.
Yeah, even the ground staff didn't want to come out in the rain.
Moreno. Baptista, Stegen has overcommitted himself. Well, he did enough to dislodge Baptista, who thinks he's scored, but there's a man with a flag on the far side of the field who's got another idea.
Is it outplay? Is it offside?
I think the ball had got out of place by Baptista. He overran the line.
Well, I think he should have scored initially. I think the opportunity there was for a right foot finish. He tries to go round the goalkeeper. He's not offside there, clearly onside. The flag stays down. It's the touch from Ter Stegen, the ball does go out of play. The assistant referee does really well to see it from that angle, from that distance. It is the right decision. The whole of the ball does go over the byline.
VAR not required. Flamboyant start to the second half from Quique Sanchez Flores' team. Well, you don't send Lionel Messi out into a rainstorm unless you're considering him, throwing him into action. Teams today for Espanyol, well, they've brought a couple of defenders in. Marc Navarro's only started 2 previous La Liga games at fullback, and Naldo in the centre, who's only started 3 games in the Spanish Championship. Suarez to Alcácer, another one who's come in from the shadows, hasn't featured from the start in any of the last 10 matches. Nicodine wins the corner.
The pressure isn't there on Barcelona, is it? They're going to this game 11 points clear of Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid drawing again last night. Atletico playing Valencia, but they'll be still desperately keen to win this game.
Iniesta. PK's in there, but he growls Diego Lopez. Comes off his line.
It isn't the norm, is it, for any team in La Liga to have such a points advantage at this stage of the season? And we're only used to seeing it really tight at the top, whether it's a 2-horse race or Atletico Madrid joining in the title challenge. And it does help. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Ernesto Valverde to make the changes today to rest important, influential players. Big games coming up, of course, Copa del Rey and the Champions League. It's a big advantage for Barcelona to be able to do this without the pressure of perhaps conceding an advantage in the race for the La Liga title.
Coutinho. There's a pitch for Coutinho, much more like the Shankly Fields on the way to Melbourne, the Liverpool training ground, or indeed Anfield. Iniesta, quite literally walking on water.
That's still keeping perfect control of the ball.
Ronaldo leaves it. Suarez to Alcácer. Stretch for Paulinho. Zemero. Busquets. Iniesta, the ever-available outlet. Iniesta drives it in. Naldo's header. Ranero swivels into trouble. Needs some support. Gets it from the referee as there's an arm laid on him by Nelson Semedo.
Yeah, Semedo didn't need to do that. He really had Ranero in a problematic position. See the conditions that the players are battling against. Where you rightly said it, Iniesta walking on water, dribbling on water.
Barcelona have won the last 7 league games, so maybe you could say that Espanyol have been thrown at the deep end. Well, he's making light of the conditions. Gerard Moreno, he and Baptiste out have looked very lively.
They're both decent players. I wouldn't even go as far as to suggest that Gerard Moreno is a really good striker. His career has come on leaps and bounds since he's moved from Villarreal to Espanyol.
Suarez. Can't find Alcácer. This is Lopez to Dado. Conditions noticeably worsening. Paulinho. Busquets. Even with so much water on the pitch, there's too much on that pass.
I think Busquets mindful of the conditions there, wasn't he, and trying to drive it to make sure it reached its intended target. And see the elusive skills of Gerard Moreno, Espanyol. On level terms and pressing for the opening goal in the game.
Busquets. Busquets caught in possession. Titi. As well to make it out of play. Now he's going to be in trouble. The referee has been consistent. He booked Naldo in the first half for Dissek. And now Titi follows him.
Yep, no problem with that. You're 15 yards away from the referee and gesturing towards him in an angry manner. Titi can have no complaints. He will, but he shouldn't.
There's quite an atmosphere being generated by the Espanyol supporters. They haven't had a great deal to cheer about here this season. When they have won, the last 4 have been 1-0 wins. They settled for that against Barcelona. Titi, a little too casual. Referee for the actual click into the clock.
Sure, Gerard Moreno does anything wrong here. He refrains from making the challenge. There's a slight angling and 6 foot plus from TT. Crashing to the ground. That's why he was arguing with the referee.
That's what angered him, wasn't it?
Massively controversial though, is it? He clears the ball for the throw-in. There was maybe a little bit of contact from Gerard Moreno, but in these conditions, that's going to happen. It really wasn't worth him continuing the argument with the referee and then picking up the yellow card.
Iniesta. He's been the standout player for Barcelona. Adapted to these conditions superbly. Semedo, a lot of support for Semedo on this near side. It's a tricky one for the supporters of Espanyol, isn't it? If you paid good money for a ticket to see a game like this, and you're a football fan, you want to see Lionel Messi with your own eyes. You can go to the Nou Camp to see him if you're a supporter of Espanyol, but likewise you don't want to see him coming on with a man on a mission.
Also, we normally would say that the conditions are the same for both teams, but they clearly don't suit the style of Barcelona, does it? Quick passing, slick passing, the interchange of movements that we see from Barcelona on the normal pitch have been slowed down today.
To Coutinho, winding himself up now. Iniesta to Suarez. Quick football from Barcelona and charged down by Navarro.
And to their credit, they're still trying to play that quick passing, aren't they? They look triangles, changing the dynamics of the attack in and around the penalty area. Particularly through that man Iniesta.
Coutinho's corner. Gerard Moreno's header. Tighten things up around Christmas. They had 4 clean sheets in 6 games, Espanyol. And I guess the onus was to be a little more adventurous and had a couple of bad weeks defensively, but they are holding Barcelona here, almost a 9-man defence at the moment. Suarez is stopped by Baptista. There's an arm from Paulinho. Not enough of a push. The referee and his assistants liking. Coutinho. Here's Dada. PK was enough. Semedo to Titi. No change in the score now with 10 minutes passed in the second half. Iniesta, Coutinho digs it to his fellow Brazilian Paulinho. Still trying to form an understanding with the players around him, the former Liverpool man.
It's hard to be critical of a player who's only recently joined the club, but Barcelona will be expecting a little bit more from Coutinho. Iniesta involved in everything that Barcelona do going forward. We saw a little one-touch pass from him yesterday into the path of Coutinho, who couldn't find his teammate with a pass of the similar standard.
There will be a double change. Sergio Roberto and Lionel Messi. Semedo. Comfortable header from Lopez. Titi. Dina. Suarez. Getting carried away. Just a little bit too early for Barca to make the change. Most important man today could be the kit man, ensuring that the players have got the right studs out there. They still have the long aluminium steering.
They don't want exactly the same studs Iniesta has got, which is the only player that's playing on this pitch that's not bothered by it in the slightest.
Much made of Lionel Messi's height. So the centre of the field, it might need water wings. Here's the bad news for Espanyol. Double change. Sergio Roberto, and then for all conditions. Well, come on, Alcácer is sacrificed for Lionel Messi. Semedo has his place taken by Sergio Roberto. Lionel Messi has averaged a goal once every 94 minutes in La Liga this season. He's on an excellent run. Scored in the last 5 games himself. We'll find out whether he can do it on a a miserable Sunday afternoon on the outskirts of town.
Actually really deteriorating now, isn't it, the playing surface? This rain continues throughout the 90 minutes. We may well have a problem, I think. Certain areas of the pitch are becoming unplayable now. Interesting, and it worked to good effect last week, and he changed both fullbacks, didn't he, Ernesto Valverde? Maybe just a touch too early in these conditions to make all three changes with 30 minutes to go, so he's holding back.
He just has a little endurance, but he still has Iniesta out there, who I keep mentioning has only gone the 90 minutes once against Malaga. Granero, a puffery kick. Suarez, even worse attempt at the clearance. Sergi Darder. Oh, Lionel Messi is welcome into the chaos. Some tackle from Aaron Martin. Now Messi drives on. He's got an outboard motor.
He has got those Iniesta studs on as well, isn't he? It's amazing. You'd think in these conditions it would favour big, strong, athletic, powerful players that can maraud through these wet conditions, heavy conditions. No surprise at all, is it, that Victor Sanchez leaves one on Messi very early on as Messi comes on as a sub. Victor Sanchez doesn't mind a tackle, loves these conditions.
Espanyol counter with their first change of the day. Sergio Garcia, once a Barcelona player, not for very long, comes on and he's a legend in these parts. And Harano has run his last race. Listen to the reception for Sergio Garcia, 34 years of age, returning to the club. He's their Messi. Paulinho to Sergio Roberto. Granero flying in. Coutinho. Moreno helping out. Coutinho wins the ball back. Fanciful little flick over the top to Luis Suarez, who looked offside but apparently wasn't.
No, he's onside. See the fullback, Martin, David Lopez, almost level with Luis Suarez, just slightly behind him. Going away from goal. Hard to generate real power to trouble Diego Lopez. It didn't. Coutinho it is with the flick over the top to Luis Suarez. Finish going away from goal.
Bear in mind when they went into town to the Camp Nou earlier in the season, back in sunny September, Espanyol were beaten 5-0 by Barcelona. Messi scored a hat-trick. Last season when Barca came here, it was a 3-0 success. So Quique Sanchez Flores has tightened things up. Paulinho goes nose to turf.
It's a silly foul because Barcelona, I think, were in the midst of actually giving the ball away. Espanyol are going to pick up possession.
Because Naldo again is playing a dangerous game. He was booked for something similar. Well, actually, he was booked for dissent in the first half and committed a foul for something similar.
Lucadinho taking off a set-piece duties with the arrival of Lionel Messi, of course.
Messi flips it in easy for Espanyol to defend, but the corner is prevented. Sanchez. Titi. Iniesta. Busquets. Recovery play from Lucadinho on the left-hand side. He was the fullback who was sacrificed last week, and Jordi Alba came on, so they'll be very happy that he stayed on the field of play. Rakitic is possibly the next option. Piqué. I hope fans' disdain hasn't been dampened in the conditions for Gerard Piqué.
It certainly must be worth Espanyol thinking about closing down Barcelona when they're playing the ball around at the back due to the conditions. Happy there to stand up. I think it's the wrong tactic.
Piqué going to ground twice. The locals like that.
It's a well-timed challenge, isn't it, from Gerard Piqué, getting across to Lucadinho and Sergio Garcia.
Both were.
Made good progress down the right flank for Espanyol.
Dara. Pirouettes like Iniesta there. Navarro's cross. Uncertain between Sergio Roberto and Piqué. Ter Stegen opts not to pick it up just in case. And run from Aaron Martin. Titi. Adventurous overhead kick. At least it was a soft landing in there. But they're having some of the better moments, Espanyol, and it's got Valverde shouting and screaming.
Well, it's great they're having a go. They're encouraged when they get the ball forward, and Ter Stegen on this occasion is the player guilty of giving away possession. Coutinho doesn't go towards meeting the ball. Titi with the first header, and then Gerard Moreno with the failed spectacular attempt with the overhead kick.
Valverde had that rough initiation in the Spanish Super Cup. But his team unbeatable at the moment. There's Moreno! Maybe Barcelona are not unbeatable. They've gone 5 games in La Liga without scoring against Barcelona here, but they have now scored. Gerard Moreno sets Espanyol up to be the...
A brilliant cross, and he was always going to be the likely scorer. He's having a really good season, a good spell at Espanyol. Give him half a chance, and he'll take it. He hasn't had many in this game. Barcelona was struggling to get the ball away from the defence. They were trying to work the ball out again, and here we see Espanyol pick up the loose ball. They win the challenge. Lucadinho shouldn't get beat by Baptistao. And it's Sergio Garcia knows exactly what his teammate, fellow striker, needs when it comes to getting the ball into the box. See, gets it out of his feet, gets it in early, whips it in behind. Piqué probably makes the wrong decision, going to try to clear the ball with his foot instead of his head. Brave header from Gerard Moreno. Just has to get the power to beat Ter Stegen, and does exactly that.
Well, credit to the Espanyol coach as well. Taking off a midfield player, sending on an attacker, putting his team on the front foot. It pays off. Gerard Moreno, 12 goals this season. Who, me? Yes, you. He hasn't won the lottery just yet, though. Remember, last week, Alaves took the lead, and then Barcelona scored 2 goals in the final 20 minutes of the game. Until around this time of the game in midweek against Valencia for Barcelona to score as well. Iniesta drives it aimlessly. Yoldo's there. Granero. Now Navarro. Titi.
I think Espanyol won the lottery when they signed Gerard Moreno. If I'm right, they paid €1.5 million for him from Villarreal for 50% of his economic rights, as they call it.
There is Moreno. After this season, maybe one of the most sought-after strikers in Spain. Still only 25 years of age. At Villarreal, he scored 16 goals for them. He was second only to Vieto.
He was never really first choice at Villarreal. He could be argued he didn't get the opportunities he deserved.
Well, he's a Catalan-born player returning to the area. Stage like this is the headline maker. big name players, Coutinho and Messi and Suarez, have to step up to the plate. Ownership delegation in town, enjoying what they see.
And they're in the dry. They've got the dry seats as well, haven't they? And a blanket.
Ignoring the crime. There goes Coutinho. Well handled by now, though. Now referee shows the yellow card for the foul on Suarez. A good example of advantage being played. Navarro's in trouble. He accepts his caution. Just caught the standing foot of Suarez.
Looks like Valverde was getting ready to make the last change.
Looking at previous patterns, one would assume it would be Iniesta, who's withdrawn for Rakitic. But Iniesta's on to be the most productive player for Barcelona. Javi Lopez miscues his clearance. So 11 points clear of Atletico Madrid, who have a very tough game later this evening against the team just behind them in the league, Valencia. Not exactly going to throw things wide open if Barca are defeated tonight. There's a lot of water to tread so far. Should have been a corner.
Yep, difficult one for the referee though, wasn't it? A quick succession of touches from both of the players. Busquets assumed it was going to be a corner. There we see two Barcelona players. Piqué's got his eye on Gerard Moreno, but he's undone by the quality of the cross. There's a fellow striker knowing exactly what his teammate requires, whips it in behind with real pace on the cross as well. Moreno evades the attempt from Piqué from that range. Just needs to make really good contact. Batista congratulating Sergio Garcia and his immediate impact. The Espanyol favourite creating that goal, that chance for Gerard Moreno.
They're not going to be getting up quickly. They're going to want to absorb as much time as possible. He has beaten Barcelona before, Quique Sanchez-Flores, but it was back in his Atletico days 8 years ago. His last 5 games against them, he's been a losing coach. And Titi just is enough to get in the way. Goal kick. Sergio Garcia has come on, he's livened things up. Here's the change. I'm going to say they're bringing on a fullback, but it's much more than a fullback, Jordi Alba, isn't it?
Yeah, there's someone to tape his shin pads on for him as well, such as his status. An important player at Barcelona. Really in the position, aren't they, to chuck on another centre-forward, attacking player. Alcácer started the game. Suarez is still on there. You've got Denis Suarez on the bench.
Well, he's a supplier of goals. Alba has only 6 assists this season. 5 of them for Lionel Messi. Well, Messi's out there. Alba and also Sergio Roberto has been the other main provider on the wings. Too much for Luca Dina, whose time is almost up. Has he changed his mind?
Yeah, he's going with big Yuri Mina up front. Going to put the big centre half on.
Well, at one point it looked as though it's going to be Rakitic. He's given himself 10 minutes to consider the change. But you have to say, when he's made substitutions this season, they generally have had a big effect. Not always obvious, often controversial, almost always successful. It's a job share at the moment between Jordi Alba and Luca Dean. He's putting some work defensively, but Jordi Alba brings a slightly different dimension to Barcelona. You know he's going to fly down that left-hand side. Bringing instruction from the coach as well as part of the reshuffle. Just wondering whether Paulinho has gone into a striking spot. The signs they were giving were two up front, Paulinho alongside Suarez. Sergio Roberto. Tackled by Alan Martin. Now, the change for Espanyol. Javi Lopez will come on for Marco Navarro, having to watch his step, having been booked. An excellent performance on the right-hand side from the young fullback, who's been a bit part player this season, but has been a major part of their success so far this afternoon.
Yeah, a player I think should play on a more regular basis. Typical Espanyol youngster, good, steady, reliable, good skills. 22 years of age. He's replaced now by an experienced player, Javi Lopez, and maybe wise from Quique Sanchez Flores, but the arrival of Jordi Alba to have someone fresh that can stay or try and stay with the pace and the runs of Alba. And who isn't on a yellow card.
He just turned 32, Javi Lopez. The most experienced man in the squad. Busquets is at the near post. It's wide to the far. And Titi gets a touch to it. There is Piqué fighting for possession. Suarez digs in. Goal kick is the referee's decision.
Well, appeals all round, isn't it? Espanyol appealing for a foul initially, I think, by Piqué, Suarez, take your pick, and then Suarez convinced that it should have been a corner. Gerard Moreno, does Suarez avoid touching the ball? He gets across, Gerard Moreno, contact made by Suarez.
You've got to watch it in the slowest of slow motion, to be sure. It appears the officials got it right. Coutinho digs in. Lionel Messi. Gerard Moreno chased to the corner by Piqué, and they get their first corner of the game. Well, they should have had their first corner of the game.
Yeah, I think he's leveled it up. I actually think the Suarez one should have been a corner as well, and that should have been a corner to Espanyol. Tries to flick, doesn't he? I think he might flick it against his own leg.
Coutinho gives it his full might to find Jordi Alba. Alba backed up by Iniesta. Alba hits with hope, but looking for Lionel Messi. He's hardly had a touch of ball since coming on. Sergio Garcia accidentally stopped by Titi, and that's one of those challenges which looks worst in the conditions, and Sergio Garcia offers instant apology for his rash challenge on Umtiti.
Well, I think he's arguing he doesn't make contact, but I actually think Umtiti does well to get out of the way, because there is going to be contact if Umtiti Doesn't jump.
And the studs were raised as well. Yellow card might be diplomatic.
I mean, what does Sergio Garcia expect Titi to stand there to initiate the contact and get some real damage done to him?
In many ways, it's been a reasonably cool-headed Catalan derby so far.
What's Espanyol got to do? They've got to put it in behind, then they have to step up, they have to get out, don't get too deep. Put pressure on PK and Titi, make it hard for them to turn, get the ball upfield.
He's gone into a central position now as part of the Valverde reshuffle. More space on the left to Jordi Alba. Now Iniesta. Iniesta regains his balance. Good balance by him. Gives it to Suarez. Alba. Lionel Messi. Danger signs in the Espanyol defence, but they do enough. They crowd him out. It's a corner.
Well, it's totally different, that proposition now, isn't it, on that left side with Messi and Alba linking up. Paulinho. You're right, Rob, earlier you made the point that Paulinho was certainly encouraged to go and play higher up the pitch.
Messi puts his might behind the corner. PK doesn't have enough might to get there. Sergio Garcia happy to hoist it into the crowd. 10 minutes to go.
We're certainly going to see a competitive 10 minutes. Yes, Barcelona had the advantage in the race for the league title, but they're undefeated. They don't want the unbeaten record to go to Espanyol.
Of all the teams. Coutinho. Sergio Roberto. PK's now playing the Sergio Ramos role, emergency centre forward. Coutinho. Easy for Espanyol to defend, they come out in unison. Now Sergio Roberto. You know, things are desperate at Barcelona are resorting to hitting the ball into the area and hoping for the best. Lopez beating PK. Tita falling foul again on the far side.
It's difficult for Barcelona to play their usual style, and if they've got PK and Titi still in the box from the previous set piece, there's no harm in getting in there quickly. Coutinho with a cross, David Lopez with a really good header. They're under pressure, they've got bodies back behind the ball. They're standing firm at the moment, Espanyol.
Just Messi's a hang fire. Defending very deep, almost on the goalkeeper's toes here, Espanyol. Paulina goes across, PK! They were looking for leadership and it was given to them by Gerard Piqué. He was unpopular at the start of the game with the Espanyol supporters, and that unpopularity has just gone off the meter.
Well, it's typical PK, isn't it? Leading Barcelona. They get the set piece, they've got bodies in the box. They're trying everything they possibly can to get back on level terms. He's rubbing salt into the wound. But it's a great delivery. It has to be hit in with real power, which exactly is from Messi. And then you need that determination from Gerard Piqué to get across defenders, 6 yards out. Powers a header past Diego Lopez. Difficult for the goalkeeper from that, such a close range. The reflexes are almost there from Diego Lopez, but Piqué just about gets away from Naldo.
Only his second La Liga goal of the season. He reserved the other one for Espanyol as well. When he leaves Barcelona, I don't think if he ever does, he will be moving to Espanyol. I think he's blown that. Well, how typical of Barcelona is that? 17 goals they've scored now in the final 10 minutes of matches. It isn't how you start, it's how you finish.
Oh, trouble.
There's a problem here for the referee. Granero is told to get away. Yellow card. And Iniesta acting as the playmaker. Gerard Moreno is all fired up. Sergio Garcia is already on a booking. And it had been a reasonably friendly Catalan affair until this incident.
This is a Catalan affair as well, isn't it? Gerard Moreno and Piqué. Closed down by all means, but it'd be interesting to see the replay how late Gerard Moreno is. How much Piqué is hurt, how much contact there was made. My initial reaction though is it possibly could have been a red card. It was very late.
The referee looking for a man in the crowd. All adding to the drama.
Piqué now going back to Gerard Moreno. He's not leaving it either, Piqué.
I think the referee's looking for Gerard, who took the protest a little bit too far.
Both Gerards, Rob. Which one are you talking about? Piqué, Moreno?
Give us a clue, ref. And that was the challenge from Gerard Moreno. A little bit of afters.
He actually doesn't.
If anything, it was Piqué who kicked in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought. Piqué's clearing the ball downfield. I was concerned that Gerard Moreno had raised his boot, got in late, clattered into Piqué.
He's like a reveller in a bar at 3 o'clock in the morning, Gerard Moreno. Trying to capture the intention of Piqué. And Busquets does well there to keep him out of the referee's book twice. It's just the yellow card. Could have been a lot worse.
It's hard to judge Piqué whether he's actually followed through and tried to catch Moreno, because he's in the act of clearing the ball downfield, isn't he? We're talking a fraction of a split second. Piqué can somehow, in that moment, think that he can generate contact with Gerard Moreno.
Well, amid the mayhem, they unveil their new signing, Carlos Sanchez. Also for Aston Villa, latterly of Fiorentina. Signed on loan on Wednesday. He's thrown into the fire here. Jordi Alba to Messi. The top. Lopez's head up. Lionel Messi with a ball juggling. Alba. Messi. Messi's out in the estimate. Excellent defending from Espanyol. Barcelona had an uncomfortable visit when they came here and lost in the Copa del Rey. And it does appear at the moment they're going to hang on to this unbeaten start to the season. The only unbeaten club in the major leagues in Europe. Coutinho. Messi steps on the gas. Fine challenge from Naldo. Followed up by Andres Iniesta. Iniesta makes no ground. Messi, but call for the referee. Free kick, respite for Espanyol.
Yep, free kick goes against Iniesta as the ball got away from him. Runs in to try and regain possession.
Piqué doing nothing for inter-club relations. There is talk that one day he may become the president of Barcelona. He can't do that kind of thing up in the plush leather seats. But he winds Gerard Moreno up. It's a tale of two Gerards. Moreno scoring for Espanyol, 66 minutes. Piqué equalising with 7 minutes to go. We have a minute and a half of regulation time. The referee's going to be adding quite a bit on.
And you know what, full credit to both sets of players, because the conditions are far from ideal. But in general, the players have got on with it. They've had the one flashpoint. There's been some hefty challenges from both teams, but that's to be expected. And it's been a decent watch.
Well, they're taking a chance here. They're throwing players forward. Sergio Dada looking for support. Sergio Roberto comes to greet him. Possession isn't reflected in the scoreline. I do hope somebody asked Quique Sanchez Flores about the state of the pitch after the game and whether the flooding of the field is almost intentional these days at half-time. As soon as the whistle goes, you see a team of ground staff out there taking the water off the pitch. We didn't appear to see anybody at half-time, but before the game, they were even watering about an hour before the match, before the heavens opened.
Possibly could see every pitch like this for the rest of the season that Barcelona are playing on away from home.
Victor Sanchez hits it long. Piqué. Knocked away by Sergio Roberto. Messi. Oh, those that claim Barcelona never do it in pristine conditions, well, cast your eyes on this. Sergio Roberto to Coutinho. Coutinho, a brilliant tackle by Naldo, but Sergio Roberto having none of it. Little flick from Messi, sting taken off the ball. Into 3 minutes of stoppage time.
That Victor Sanchez tried 3 times to foul Messi, and he was arguing with the referee. He wanted the referee to give the foul, yet the referee allowed Barcelona the advantage. Victor Sanchez wanted to be penalised with the free kick.
Moreno cuts the ball to Sergio Garcia. The referee's assistant left it agonisingly late. Still a little bit of sledging between the two. He's got the double team of Suarez and Messi now. I suggest they won't be swapping shirts at the end of the game.
That isn't the first coming together between those two teams in this fixture. Those two players, sorry, in this fixture. He's one of the most booked players ever in La Liga, isn't he, Victor Sanchez? And that type of player wants to get under the skin of opponents.
Paulinho climbing high on the head of Gerard Moreno, whose adrenaline is pumping. See
Gerard Moreno telling them to hold on, then he wants the ball to feet. Victor Sanchez does play it to Gerard Moreno. Might be better advised, get it into the box. Last minute of the game. Take the chance, push the central defenders forward. Go for a dramatic win for the home team.
Aaron Martin with a pro cross. Umtiti charged down by Dada, who stayed in there. Even Piqué misses the header. Gerard Moreno takes the long route. Barcelona had to be careful with their tackles. Of course, Sergio Garcia gets around Umtiti. There was an arm across the striker, and there was certainly a case to be answered. The referee says not guilty.
We don't initially credit to Gerard Moreno because there was a couple of attempts on the edge of the box where he could have gone down. Sergio Garcia,
no,
it's minimal, isn't it? And he cannot wait to get to the ground.
Well, credit to the referee. Upon reflection, the right decision. And he's had an outstanding game. He's had a lot of difficulties to sort out.
And irritatingly, Sergio Garcia could have stayed on his feet there, and he was going to get the other side of Samuel Umtiti.
Well, it has been exhilarating. It's been something different. All love on the touchline now after what has been a battle down on the centre stage. Gerard Piqué not far away from it, equalising for Barcelona. He was there when they needed him, and they're trying to get him down the tunnel now. He's still a little wound up, and I'm sure they'd be rather he was fighting with Umtiti than fighting with one of the opposition. At best getting them in a nice, cool shower. Gerard Moreno, the man who upset the apple cart with the first goal of the game after 66 minutes. And what a a debut for Sanchez. He came on and couldn't quite believe his eyes. Final score here, what has been a very entertaining battle between the two teams, is Espanyol 1, Barcelona 1.